Hello everyone, what is up? I hope you are well. I've just finished the DLC for Elden Ring pretty much or a while ago, and I thought, hey, why not just talk about and rank all the bosses from it from best to worst, and that's what I'm going to do. Overall, I thought the DLC was okay, and it's fun to get to talk about it too, to get my thoughts out there, what I think about them. Let's just jump right into it, okay? Here we have it. So I'm going to be ranking them from S to D and then trash. Just not worth your time. The further to the right they are, the worse they are, and the further to the left they are, the better they are. So they want to be here, for example, then it's a high B. Over here is a low B. And I'm going to be ranking all the bosses in this DLC, even the remembrance ones, even the mini bosses, every one of them. So let's start. Ancient Dragon Man. Decent fight, nothing really special. It's a humanoid NPC creature, dragon man rather. He has a cool weapon though, and well, you get it when you kill him, so that's something at least. But otherwise, it's a pretty boring fight. I'll put this in C, I think. Ancient Dragon Senesax just felt kind of tedious to me because I've fought all these dragons in the base game, and well, this one is, although it is slightly different, it's still a dragon with red lightning and didn't really feel that much different either. Still, it's a low B. It's over here maybe. Now, Build Dread is a difficult one because I think the design of this guy, this dragon guy, is just amazing. It's a really good designed boss up until the second phase where all these effects and weird hitboxes starts to occur. So that said, questline surrounding it, the arena, the boss design, just the fun of it all in all, it wasn't... I mean, it's a good fight, it's a really good fight. Still, I think that the aspect of just not being able to see very much in second phase drags it down a bit. I can't give it lower than a low A. It's very close to B, but not really. Black Knight, Erdtree, it's just another enemy, can't even be considered a boss. Knight has some special moves, but that's pretty much all. This is trash, straight up. And the same goes for Garu, which is just a variation of this fight. Can't even be considered a boss in my opinion. That's it. Now Black Gaul. Now this guy is something different though. He has a unique weapon, which you get from defeating him. You get the armor too. Packs a real punch. If you go to him like I did, the first thing you do in the DLC, you'll get your ass handed to you. Easily. Still, it's just a humanoid fight. Nothing special. It's just a humanoid NPC fight. But personally, I will rank this one a bit better than the Ancient Dragon Man, because I fought him the first thing I did, and then it felt kind of special to just get almost one shot by this guy. Chief Bloodfiend had a cool little arena where you find the guy. Other than that, it's just a reused mini-boss. Felt like they could have put in the effort to create some sort of Chief Bloodfiend chief, if you know what I mean. Like the Arch Chief. The bigger the better, with a unique moveset. Or just not reused in any way other than this fight, then it would have been more special. I think that's a big reason why I dislike Elden Ring to the degree that I do, is that I reuse so much of the content they use, and then it makes them not feel that special at all. It's just a C. Commander Gaius. This is very close, because I feel like he kind of tiptoes the line between a D and just being straight up trash. Actually, yeah, let's put him into trash, because holy fuck, the design is cool, the gravity attacks are cool, but it's just such a dumb fucking fight. It's almost designed to be played on horseback, but the hitboxes and the attacks, which are very hard to dodge if not impossible, is easier, or it's kind of supposed to be played without the horse. It's just a mess, this fight. I didn't like it at all, and I will never like it. It was barely worth the effort to get the 5 Erdtree fragments, so I consider this a complete failure of game design. Count Ymir fares a bit better. Nothing special in reality. although the lore kind of heightens the experience a bit, I will say that I really liked him more than these guys. Maybe this. Just the lore, the eerie, creepy design of the guy, and kind of makes my skin crawl a bit, so yeah. Right, Curseblade Labyrith. What a shame and wasted opportunity for this fight. Using the darkness mechanic would have been very interesting if it were a unique enemy of sort, or at least a changed enemy from the other dancing, flying, crazy enemies. It's just a regular enemy with a darkness effect. Doesn't really feel special. Actually, I'll put it in D. The dancer, I mean, NPC fight, barely anything special. I'll even put it like this, to be honest. Death Knight version 1. I'm presuming this is the guy with the axes. I'm gonna say this is the guy with the axe. This was a real treat when I played it. I found him just out of exploring, going in blind. He kicked my ass, I think 2-3 times or something, and then I beat him. Just a fun fight. Telegraphed attacks with very fair dodge windows, and you could like stun lock him if you wanted to a certain degree. He could power through your moves with poise, with added poise in certain moves. Still, this fight was just fun all around, so I'm gonna put this into B. I know, might be controversial, but you know. Second fight wasn't as good. I'll probably put him into C. Deathrite Bird. I mean, it's a Deathrite Bird. Buffed, as it says. Yeah, it's buffed, but it's still just a Deathrite Bird. Reused again. It's D. The Demi-Human. This is just trash. Reused enemy, reused boss from the base game. You can even face a boss of this Demi-Human creature type in the base game, and it's just lame at this point. This was a bit more interesting. I had to really... I think I summoned for this guy, because he was just so annoying with his teleporting and swift moves. It was hard to follow what the frick he was doing. I didn't really like it personally, but I can't in good conscience put it lower than C. I'll put him into C somewhere. I'm guessing I'm gonna put him there. Now, this guy. Divine Beast Dancing Lion. That was my first foray into why I think this DLC is so stupid. Don't get me wrong, this lore-wise and design-wise is incredible. Very unique enemy, and I really like them in the cinematic trailer they put out. But I can't for the love of God understand why they create such an enemy with a camera like this and not just move the camera back a bit so you're able to actually see what happens. Because if you're close to the boss, you can't see shit. Add on to that all the elemental attacks like the ice, the thunder, the wind. It's just crazy. You can't see shit. I summoned for this guy and I don't regret it at all. Just sure to fight. Actually, it's one of the worst fights just because of that second phase. The coolness factor is like an S. Gameplay factor, the fun of it is like, no. I mean, it's still better than most of these guys, I guess. I'll put him into C. Falling Star Beast buffed, reused, enemy again. Put him into D straight away. Furnace Golem isn't boss, so hold on, let me do this. We'll put him there and ask like what? Ghost Flame Dragon version 1 and 2. I mean, don't get me wrong, Ghost Flame Dragons, what a cool concept. But then you fight two of them in the same DLC and they're literally the same. They are just the same. Come on. Fighting it amongst the flowers was more cool than otherwise. So I guess we'll put him into C still. Repeating it caused it to be worse. Hence why I put in D. The Golden Hippo they reused later on as a regular enemy. But they didn't reuse the thorns and the thorn attacks the first original Golden Hippo used. So I guess it's a bit more unique. It's nothing special though and very forgettable. I'm putting it to C. Jagged Peak Drake. Forgettable, reused enemy. Lamentor. Oh, this was a cool fight actually. You could summon other Lamentors lamenters, that I would say. And he could actually make it so if you didn't really kill them, you get punished for it. So I had to actually change up my strategy for this guy in a, I think, in a good way. So I know this is controversial and all. I really like this fight. Actually, let's do this and let's do that. Yep, this seems fair. I really like this. It felt unique. And uniqueness is highly valued. I would rather have less bosses and more unique bosses. The Remembers boss, Mesmer the Impaler. Actually, my friend will probably hate me for this, but this is one of the better fights in the DLC. Sorry, Mr. Potato Man. Mesmer was so cool. Had a really nice design. Tied into the lore of the DLC in a nice way. Felt like a fleshed out boss and character in many ways. I really disliked the difficulty the first 3 fights. And I felt like it wasn't a fair fight. And then I realized it wasn't. It was one of the more fair ones in this DLC. That said, I had to change up my strategy for it to feel fun, which I don't really like. I don't really feel like you should need to do that. But at the same time, I mean, I could have gone and leveled up in other places, come back. So I guess it is what it is. I'll probably get shit for this, but he's a high A. It's very close to an S for me. I just like the fight through and through. The Mother of Fingers fight, let me just say, the build-up for this was excellent. The way you had to follow this quest line, you had to find these weird kind of ocarinas, similar to ocarinas, and just blow into them, and then go back and then do the same, and then you find the hidden entrance below the manor. Just the build-up was excellent. The design is so weird and eerie, it feels almost like we're in Bloodborne again. I think this was a good fight actually. A decent fight at least. It's not an A fight, there are some things about it that makes it really annoying. But it's a B fight, in my opinion. Now we're getting to the big boys. So, Midra, Lord of Friends of the Flame, as a boss fight only. I'll make the choice and then I'll tell you why. So Midra, I know I'm a bit biased, that's okay. Just finding that old manor, almost seemingly forgotten, was so incredible and felt like something you had just happened upon by chance, by accident. And then you find this old manor, you find all the secrets which eventually lead you to Midra in his depraved state that he is admittedly in. He says enough and the fight is on. I mean, the room eventually erupts into madness, and and it's just good all around. I felt like this was a really fair fight. I never really felt cheated out of a win or loss. Not in the ways other fights do in this DLC at least, so what else can I say? Fair, good fight, enough challenge, cool ass lore, design, everything about this fight is just So it's one of the better ones. Putrescent Knight, it is unique, but at the same time it's very similar to, if you played Bloodborne you know it's very similar to a boss from that DLC, very similar. The arena is fine, the way leading up to the fight is just top notch. Other than that, it's very annoying. Kind of, I'll put him into C, just behind Divine Beast. Rhode, Consort of Miquella. Do we have another Rhode too? No, this is just the entire... Let me explain before I make the choice, because otherwise you'll just get mad at me. The first phase of this fight, it's good. It's really good. Did I wish that they could use another character? Yes. I was kind of annoyed that they reused Rhode in this way. I know lore-wise why. It just felt very lacking in the imagination department. Might just be me. The first phase, really good. Telegraphed attacks, felt fair. A good fight. And then the second phase hits. And it becomes just a nightmare. It's one of the worst phases of a boss that they've done ever. Some attacks you can't see shit what happens. Some attacks is seemingly undodgeable unless you look up a guide on YouTube. Okay, how do I dodge this attack? I think it took me 2-3 hours to beat this guy, which for me is a long time. And at the end, honestly, I didn't feel relief, I just felt annoyance. I felt relief that I never had to fight this guy ever again. And I mean, I will never fight this guy again. I'm good. It's just a bad fight. Second phase. So yes, I don't know if I dare to do this shit, to be honest. All in all, if we take phase 1 into account. No, you know what? Just for the second phase, it felt like such a slap in the f***ing face. This fight is trash. And I can say that because I beat this guy. And when I beat him, I went in solo, I had 2 summons, they died, and then I beat his ass. So I can say that. I didn't change up my build or anything, I just equipped another weapon and I hammered his ass. I hope that From Software doesn't go in this direction in the future when designing tough and cool bosses. You can make them cool, you can make them challenging without being frustrating. Or players just writing, okay, so here is a cheesy build for you to beat this asshole. So they don't have to waste like days trying to beat him. Or, oh, you're playing a full mage. Good luck beating this guy. Get one shot, you have to change your build up so you at least can take one hit. It's just a mess. It's just a mess. On the opposite side of the spectrum, Ravla the Great Red Bear wasn't really anything special. I mean, we have another bear here. Rugalea and Ravla, I consider these to be on the same level. I didn't like that they reused this fight again, like they reused so many other things. That said, it was a nice fight. I like how they changed up this fight when getting to the middle of it, and it felt fair. Telegraphed attacks, enough damage, enough challenge, so it's a good fight. Actually, it's probably a B. Reused version can get like, I mean, it's better than this, so just that they reuse fights drops them down a peg. Red Bear, NPC fight, this is honestly nothing special. You get a cool outfit, so we'll take Rakshasa now, I think. A very annoying dance with the blade. The design is cool, but other than that, it's just like another NPC fight. It's just a humanoid NPC fight, and they aren't that interesting to begin with. So this gets the lowest of C's. And we'll take Tree Sentinel X2 buffed. Just trash. Shouldn't have even been included in my opinion. I fought this enemy so many times. I'm starting to fight them in other places too. Like they're everywhere. Come on, stop. You know what sucked? When I went to the backside of the Shadow Keep and I found that sunken sanctuary part and I saw something just going in the water, swimming around. I could see a bit of it. Triggered my fear of waters and large objects in it. Thalassophobia, I think it's called. To like 3 million. It was so horrifying. Then I drained the water and it's just this fucking ass normie bitch boss that I've fought 3,000 times before. Man, why? Talk about disappointment. Damn. I just had to get that out of my system now that I have it. 4 bosses to go. We'll take Yori first. We'll go in the other direction, I think. Yori is also one of those fights that on paper and on first look, the first 10 seconds or something, amazing. Feels so cool. We have a unique-ish fight at first. You can send all these weird incantations with the blades and you have to hide behind graves in order to dodge them. And he can summon some enemies, that's okay and all, but just he doesn't summon one enemy. He doesn't just summon 2. He like summons so many, and on top of that he summons a bigger Inquisitor that can track you down in just milliseconds. So if you're standing behind a grave, doesn't matter, he'll just crush you and the graves, so now you can't stand behind them in order to avoid his shots. One thing I will say though, I didn't know that you could backstab this guy. Would have probably made him a bit easier, but I didn't know. Okay, I didn't know. So with that out of the way, and they reused the enemy later on, I mean, it's just... It's better than these though. Better than these. Erdtree Avatar wasn't that bad. I don't know if I just was over leveled and powered up to the extreme, but I felt like this fight was okay. I actually kind of liked it. It's one of the ones I liked more. So I might be in the minority here, and There are some attacks that was harder to dodge. Didn't really feel unfair though, so this is gonna be a very controversial positioning, placement in the tier list. But I'll actually put him into B. I thought this was fine. It was a fun fight. His charge attack was fine too. It was easy to dodge because you could just feel it coming. So two more to go, and we'll do Romina first. Okay, Romina, Saint of the Bud. What a disappointment that they didn't have a special intro, or at least some dialogue, or at least something for this guy. Not guy, for this boss. With such a cool and unique design, the importance lore-wise for this boss, and where you fight this boss, it's just perplexing why they didn't really put in a tiny amount more effort to make this boss really stand out as one of the greater fights in the entire DLC. It's just weird, right? Could have been more, and had they done that, this would have easily been an S fight. Easily. It's one of the better boss fights in the DLC. But when it lacks that, for example, let's compare it to Gwyn. Why there is no cutscene, why there is no dialogue, it makes sense, and actually it kind of makes the fight more hard-hitting in terms of trying to get a memorable moment from you, trying to instill this fight in you that you will carry on a bit because you remember why it was important, why it was impactful rather. This could have been that, but without anything special regarding it. And if you're not a lore junkie, and if you don't read all the items, and you don't try to read up on enemies and stuff like that, you have no idea about this, about Romina. There's a difference, because in Dark Souls they clearly hype up Gwyn as something very special, and then it's just a husk of a man. No introductions, he just charges you head on. And this is the opposite of that. So it just gets an A. It's even better than Mesmer, the Impaler, I feel. It's very, very close to an S, but in the end I can't give it to that. We now have Rilana, Twin Moon Knight. Let me say that kind of felt like the fortress you fight her in was lackluster, small. Could have been more to explore. A better build up for this fight. Yet, if we put that aside, if we take into account what this fight represents, what happens after this fight, this is amazing. After you've danced with this boss for 2-3 times, that's exactly what it begins to feel like, just a dance. It feels like you're exchanging blows and you're dancing around each other and dodging each other's blows and trying to get one hit in here and there, and you can get more than one hit in on those larger telegraphed attacks that leaves her open for a while. It feels just right in terms of difficulty. It feels just right in terms of spectacle. It just feels right. Everything about this boss feels so almost perfect. Well thought out. I mean, chef's kiss. I can't with good conscience give this anything other than an S. And actually, I think I might like this boss the most out of all the other bosses in the DLC. It's just that good. It's amazing. The design and everything, and the twin moon. Oh my god, come on. This is the completed tier list. If you disagree, let me know down below. If you haven't watched my other tier lists, do it now. I even have one where I ranked all the bosses, except from this DLC. So check that out if you want to. Thanks for watching. Hit the like, subscribe. You know, more content is coming, and it's gonna be awesome. Also, let me know what you think about the DLC. I personally left it a negative review on Steam. I wish I could have given it a neutral one, because I feel like they're going in a direction I don't really like. They've even added undodgeable attacks, which I'm not a fan of at all. Well, that's how it is. I hope they revitalize themselves and start anew. I hope they do something other than Elden Ring. Yeah, thank you for watching again. This was SphericAlpha. I'll be seeing you.